The following podcast has been rated R. You've been warned. Welcome to the greatest DC Legends podcast in human history. Well, okay, maybe not. But stick around anyway, because we're going to have some fun. You know me, I'm the AB. And along with my crew, we'll talk DCL and everything else in between. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Atlantis After Dark. Hello, and welcome! You found your way to our humble little podcast. We appreciate you listening wherever you might have found us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and even right here on Spreaker. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button with a sock pickle and click that little bell icon if you're on YouTube so you never miss an episode. And yeah, raids are almost upon us. We'll break them down. We'll talk about the new tunes, one of which I'm super pumped for. Plus, Merle and Cleetus escalate things to a new level today. We'll discuss that and so much more. But first, let's introduce our panel for the day. First up, he's going to get a pass today because it's International White Bread Day. It's Biff by Adam West. How the hell are you, man?
My favorite day is on the calendar.
Your favorite day is on the calendar. What day is that?
White Bread Day.
I should have known.
You don't get any more white bread. They used to call me Wonder.
Boy Wonder?
No, Wonder Bread.
Oh, goodness. Next up, she gets a pass because she's so witty, I would never have a good retort for what she'd say to me. It's our resident smartass witty Amazon. How's it going?
It's all good. It's my favorite day, too.
And what day is that for you?
The end of Siege Day. It's my absolute favorite.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you a bit. Oh, my goodness. Missing in action today is our resident speedster Black Flash. He is a little under the weather, so he will probably not be joining us. He will not be joining us, let's say it like that. I don't know if I want to invite him into the room when we're halfway through. So yeah, you get us today. You get us today and all the fun things that come with us. So raids are upon us. They start Wednesday. We already know who the multipliers are, and it seems to me like they have this, the devs, Steve, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the devs. Steve, the only dev, has somewhat of a fetish for giving us crap tunes. Is that a true statement?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think that's by design. I think they want to make it as grindy can be, and by giving us people that can hit hard, that just, you know, that would just make our quality of life better.
Yeah. I guess the way I see it is they have to spend time and effort to justify all of the tunes they've introduced. And they know not all the tunes are great, right? But they also know that there's a collection of tunes out there that people aren't gearing and they're not leveling. And the best way to get you to spend your money is to put them in the raids, so you have to gear them or you have to spend your money. That's just my personal take on it.
No, I think that's absolutely it, you know, because there's that, we all have that group. Like for me, it's I have 20 that are just level 60, gear 10 that I haven't made the jump. And when they put one of those at 5 times, I have to decide, do I spend any resources at this point, or were they in that bottom 20 in my case for a reason? And F it. I'm not even going to gear them.
No.
Some of them are not worth it anyways.
Right.
I mean, we've had Orm for a multiplier and Mad Jester like a couple months ago, I think, and they were not really that good, and we know they're not going to be worth it. And if you look at some of the other tunes, I mean, Blaze she's, I know, she just, it's like she has a feather gun. It's not even a ring. She doesn't hit anything. She doesn't do any damage. She's going to be shit anyways. I mean, I have her geared, but I feel like most people won't even take an effort to gear her and to use her. Most of them are not usable. I'm counting on Shiva to save the day, because the other ones, I know they're not going to pack any heat. The times 2, I know that they won't do shit. They won't do enough damage. The 3X's, Cersei maybe, but and even the 5X tunes, Orm and Ultraman are just buff. They won't do anything good. I'm counting on Shiva exclusively.
Yeah, and for that reason, I didn't want to do it, but I started gearing my Shiva. I've got her up to, I think, level 70, gear level 10 now. So I've got her on standby in case. But, I mean, it's it's ridiculous.
I don't want to complain too much, because last month was good.
Yeah.
You know, it can't always be that good. But for this month, my feel is Shiva is going to be the MVP.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that has to be the case. I mean, as you said, you know, when you look at Ocean Master and Ultraman, like Ultraman has a decent AoE, so maybe he'll take out some red minions or whatever the case may be, but they're support characters. You know, as you said, they're buff. You know, Ultraman is transferred to buffs and a buffing tune, and like that doesn't do us any good.
I tested him. He keeps using his second in autoplay. He keeps using his second over and over and over. It's not good enough for race.
No, and if he's just using his taunt, no, you're absolutely right. I haven't tested that.
And Orm is just buff as well. So I don't think they're going to be good enough. And their damage output won't be better than Shiva.
No, I will make the case though. I think the blue boss will be the best one, obviously because of Shiva. But I will make a case for one of my favorites, Scarecrow, because as a 3-time, because he does, if on misses, so if he can, put some hit chance downs he does have a 50% chance to retaliate on any miss from any member of the team. And the good thing about Scarecrow's retaliation is he retaliates with his most powerful move, not his basic, which can also most times stuns. So he might allow Shiva and himself to control against blue bosses, maybe even red bosses, control the match, and maybe really just keep getting turns. But other than that, as
I don't know, I'm going to back Cersei on that one. I'm going to back Cersei on the 3-time stones. She's been a multiplier before. She can hit against the green boss on the first 2 days. Yep. She's going to be useful. And her stuns and AoE will be good against minions and to give Shiva more opportunity to attack. I think so. And she'll also be useful against the green boss because Scarecrow is a physical tone, right?
Yep.
So with Shiva being a red tone also, you're going to need more diversity. I'm going to back my girl Cersei on this one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, I think Cersei is going to be very viable, but I do think against blue bosses, I think maybe a Scarecrow, Lady Shiva, Cersei.
Absolutely.
Threesome, might be good.
Absolutely.
Are there any other tunes out there that are on the S tier list, especially for raids, that you think are going to be valuable this go around?
I mean, the usual, the team leaders. I always go with Hippolyta for lead because her animations are rather quick.
Yeah,
and her call assist is golden. I mean, all the buffs, she's super useful, and she's my go-to leader for raids. With some exceptions, Saint Walker, but I think I'm gonna go first with Hippolyta. Her call assist is really good, and her animation is just take no time, and she's always useful. Yeah. Always, I use her every raid.
See, I don't use Hippo that often. Maybe I should start. I'm a big fan of using Saint Walker or Lex. Yeah. I should start.
I use more Saint Walker as well, but it's frustrating because obviously I will never put myself through. I think there was one raid where I actually played manually because it was a Constantine with Saint Walker, and it was just this really crazy where you could just do ridiculous damage that were not from photoshopped. But you had to play manually, and it absolutely took a years off my life. So the one problem with Saint Walker is you don't get to choose that call assist. So I could see maybe against a blue boss a Saint Walker or a Hippo with Cersei, Shiva, and Scarecrow doing all right.
Sometimes I use them both. Sometimes I use a Saint Walker lead and a Hippo for extra call assists, and it works just fine. I mean, Saint Walker's problem is his third move. Sometimes it's a waste of time, but it's all good if you're going to play auto. I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah, I think that
I don't have Atrocitus. Maybe you, AB, you do have Atrocitus. Don't you use him?
I do use Atrocitus quite a bit too. Yeah,
and he might be good with Bleeze. I mean, if she did any damage, but I think he might work well with Bleeze for this one, right?
Yeah. Well, it's something we can certainly try. It's something I'm not opposed to trying.
I won't try it. That's for sure.
The only reason I wouldn't probably go Atro against a blue is just because if he's enraging Scarecrow keeps using his 1, which hits like Bleeze, although it gives hit chance downs, which could then lead to him countering with his 3rd. But yeah, we'll see. It's all, as you guys know, it's all testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also he's good when your tuners have a good basic move and with good damage. That's when he strikes best.
Yep, absolutely.
Which is not the case for these tunes. So I'm gonna go Hippo. I'm gonna back my Amazons this month. I'm gonna go Cersei and Hippo, backing my girls.
Yeah, there you go. And speaking of Hippo and your Amazons, how do you feel about the CTOA challenge that's coming up this next month? I know that's one of the tunes that are getting a rework. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, I'm happy because I do want to get all my Amazons geared and leveled properly, but she's one of those tunes that's never available anywhere unless you buy a pack or two. Not even on enemy teams on PvP, because she obviously needs a rework and needs to be more relevant to the current meta. But I never see her anywhere, so I'm obviously going to be glad to be using her and to be gearing her, and hopefully she's going to be relevant, just like my other Amazons.
Well, when I first started playing the game, this was when it first came out, she was one of the characters that they offered right away. So I used her quite a bit. I think I got her up to L3 now. Which is great, L3, and I'm only a handful of shards away from going L4. I thought she was really effective when the game first started. Her AoE was fantastic. Strength up to the team, fantastic. And then as slowly as they started introducing more characters, the less and less relevant she became. It almost sparks a question for me, though. If they're going to rework, Wonder Woman, Champion of the Amazons, when is the Batman CC rework going to come? When's the Green Lantern Hal Jordan rework going to come? When's the Zatanna rework going to come?
I think you should have asked that question last episode when they decided to rework Harley Quinn when she didn't need one. Coda needs one. Coda needs one, but Harley didn't need one. So
no. And that's what blows my mind is just go to the crap tune list and just say
she was 8 years already.
Yeah. Here's where we go. And Coda, you're absolutely right. Needs it. I remember the days when she was very viable. Then it seemed like when DOJ came around, from a Wonder Woman perspective, it was either POT or DOJ, and COA was gone. But to talk about the scarcity of her shards. Like I have 3 tunes in the entire list that I don't have L5 shards for, and she is one of those. So that speaks
Where
to
is
the
she
rarity.
at for you?
She's level 80, L4. I have her maxed out, but I have a big board of all my rankings of all the characters, and she, of my 115 level 80 maxed characters, she is number 115. in my rankings.
Oh wow!
So she is my lowest rated of all the characters I've maxed out that are either anywhere from L4 to RB4. That's my top, all my level 80s.
Wow.
So she is my third lowest as far as shards.
And is Mr. Miracle above that?
Mr. Miracle is in that bottom 20 I talked about. That he is level 60 G10, which is my little abyss at the bottom of my roster.
He's gonna need a miracle.
It's gonna need to be a miracle rework to get him out of my bottom 20.
Yeah,
but I'm happy he's getting the rework instead of doing some pointless reworks. I think and maybe they should have gone. It's just my opinion. Since they bring DARKSEID and they're reworking Mr. Miracle, maybe do a whole Apocalypse month. I don't know. Yeah. I'm kind of confused with the whole Amazon / Superwoman / DARKSEID. It's kind of a bit confusing in my head.
It's kind of a hodgepodge, isn't it? I mean, I think DARKSEID is up there because it's going to coincide with the Snyder Cut coming out on HBO Max. But I mean, Superwoman is a crime syndicate character. She's from Earth 3, and I don't know where that fits into the Snyder Cut if that's what they're putting these tunes out for. Same for that. I could be said for, Wonder Woman, Champion of the Amazons. How does that fit in there? How does Mr. Miracle fit in there?
Yeah. DOJ would have made more sense if they were.
DOJ absolutely would have made
Mr. Miracle is Apocalypse. Mr. Miracle is Apocalypse. Yeah. He makes sense. He's the one who makes sense. The other two don't, but I'm good with that. More shards.
Sure.
I would rather have two characters that needed it versus synergy with the theme. You know what I mean? So at least they got that right.
I'll back that.
Yeah, they got that part right. Two characters that needed it.
Absolutely. And
Aquabird, you're happy about DARKSEID, aren't you?
I am. Let me tell you, I am doing backflips and cartwheels to get my hands on DARKSEID. I'm going to be a broke motherfucker next month.
What if he becomes the next Doomsday? How would you
feel? I will be so fucking mad. I will be nuclear.
This is me being the asshole.
Yeah, that's going to be a pain in my asshole, all right. They better not nerf him. I swear to God, they better not nerf him.
You think he's going to be relevant in this whole speed meta thing? I mean, from what I've read, I think he needs to ramp up to do some damage. You think he'll have the time to ramp up and be relevant?
Well, that's a good question because typically
the kits are not out yet, but the description I get a bit of a Doomsday feel, and he's going to be a total joke if he becomes the next Doomsday.
Well, and he is. I would say this, and this is always my philosophy. When you have a tune that takes a long time to get ramped up, you need to put at least one taunter in there, and that still doesn't even save you from AOE. Right. If you have somebody with a strong AOE like a Wonder Girl, you're pretty much fucked. But I would test him with an AOE team and with a taunter, and then I would test him independently of that to see where he sits on the register. I know you bring up Doomsday as the example. I have a bigger fear. I have a fear that he is going to wind up like Superman. And that'll really make me angry.
Superman is your kryptonite.
Yes.
By the way, I know he stinks, like on offense and everything. Mm-hmm. He is my most hated character to face now. I actually got in a 7-minute siege battle the other day because just the damage immunity every fucking time, and
he keeps taunting.
Yeah,
and you want to die and you want to back off the game, but you don't want to lose your points, so you just sit through that whole thing. He's super annoying.
A long time ago, Whitty, didn't you face one of my Superman teams?
No, I think it was the other way around.
Oh. Okay.
One of the teams from the challenge, from the Beatles challenge, that you faced with a much higher powered team and you lost 3 times to it?
Yeah, that's it. I mean...
And I told you had to take back what you said about Superman.
And I still won't. I still won't do it. He sucks. Sucks.
Mine is ungeared and you lost 3 times to it.
Yeah.
So you have to take it back.
Maybe another example, then like a Doomsday for a character that needs to ramp up. Maybe like a Bane.
Oh,
you know, he could end up being a tanky, but needing to ramp up. And at least Bane hits harder than Superman, which doesn't make much sense, but still.
No.
You know, at least I would expect Darkseid to, if he's like Superman, to be someone that can ramp up, but also has to deal damage. You just got to figure. You just can't figure based on anything that could make him a Doomsday Shiva. Ramp up tank, but do no damage.
Well, let's certainly hope that isn't the case. I'm remaining optimistic. I don't know. For me, it's the kind of careful what you wish for kind of month. Oh, yeah. I hear you.
I'll have to wait and see.
Maybe if I get enough to go Rebirth 3, then he'll be worth his weight in gold gems. But we shall see.
I guess I'm the one that's not as psyched as you guys. I mean, he's okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's a childhood favorite of mine. You know, it's one of those things where Doomsday was great, right? But Darkseid to me was always the bigger, badder villain. Being a fan of, I guess it just comes down to me being a huge fan of it, and I don't care if it's crap or not. I'm going to have one of the best Darkseids in the game. That's just all there is to it.
Yep, that's the thing. Like I don't know. I don't think, and I see on. You know, I was more into cartoons and comics as a kid, so I really knew the major folks. Like some of the people I hear like on Reddit and everything. Oh, you should bring this person in. I'm like, I don't even know who that person is. I had to wiki Superwoman because I had never heard of her.
Me too.
But so for me, there's no one out there, with the exception of one that I'll never get, that would excite me about a new character. And that would be the Batman 66 villain, King Tut, which was my favorite villain of all time. I have no idea what the kit would look like, and they'll never do it. But that is the only DC character left that would actually get me jazzed.
Not even Trigon? I mean, he can beat Darkseid's ass. So I think he's going to be one that I'll be waiting for. There are not much characters that I'm psyched for because all the relevant ones are already in the game. But I think Trigon is still a very good one, and he's an awesome villain.
Yeah,
and more Raven shards. So that's all. That's all I need for 2021.
That's it. Well, that's on Witty's wish list, and I think it's on a lot of people's wish list. I like Raven.
Oh, I love her. She's amazing. She just needs to be more relevant, I guess. I mean, Star Sapphire takes a lead as a better healer than Raven, and she needs more health points. Her damage output is somewhat decent, but she's too slow of a character, and she doesn't get a chance to do anything, really. She just sits there pretty.
Oh, so, Raven's gone.
She needs a rework.
Yeah, she needs health. Is what she needs because you could sneeze on her and she's gone.
Yeah. And she does. Yeah, absolutely.
A good stiff wind.
Yep.
And with all the physical tunes, with dealing a lot of damage like Azrael and Shiva, she has no chance. She needs a rework.
Not that she's even usable at this point because of
no, absolutely
the rework
not.
Needs a rework, but even a Harley Quinn, for me, her third, like her AOE would probably take out an RB5 Raven.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree.
I'll back it.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a quick break, and this one is, I guess, for those of you who've been following along. Merle and cousin Cleetus have been having a little war of words, and I think that it's going to get out of control soon. Well, instead of me sitting here explaining it to you, I'll just let you hear it for yourself. Don't go anywhere. The second half of Atlantis After Dark is coming up right after this. Howdy, folks. Merle Nelson here. And if you're like me, you probably had just about enough of hearing from Cousin Cleetus about Big Jim's jams. I know I am. I don't like it when people encroach on my business. So here's a solution I'm proposing. You and me, Cousin Cleetus. You and me in a steel cage wrestling match. No time limit. Anything goes. Just you, me, air, and opportunity. Well, that and anyone who wants to buy a ticket to see me beat you stupid with a handcrafted rubber dick the size of a damn baseball bat, because that's what's gonna happen. I'll leave the details with AB, and if you got the guts to settle this one out once and for all, you'll get in there with me and have it out, mano-y-mano. Name the time and the place, you stupid son of a bitch.
Wee doggies, this here's Cousin Cleetus, and I heard Merle has a challenge for me. Do you really want to wrestle me, son? Well, you're on, you big yellow dummy. But there's a catch. See, beating you's too easy. That's why I'm a-raising the stakes. Here's the deal. If you win, I'll pack up and leave town. That's right, I'm as good as gone. But if I beat you, and I know I will, then you can never advertise for Rob or his cheap, broke-ass dick store again. I give the details to AB and he'll set it up. Steel cage, baby. You and me, the big Dukaroo. Yee-haw!
All right, welcome back to Atlantis After Dark, everybody. We're here with Biff and Witty, and we're talking all things DCL. One of the things that's going to happen today is the end of Siege. I know that's a personal favorite for Witty, and I know that Biff loves it too. So, where are we at? How are we doing on the old Siege?
This has been another fun one. You know, no, I say that very snarkily. You know, with the whole Harley Quinn rework of a rework that broke her more, and and you know, just the new speed meta that's really making the game in modes like this, like in Wrath, who gives a shit? Because I don't mind if I lose. But in modes like this, I find myself doing more mirroring, which is so fucking boring. Just to make sure I go first, and that's not the spirit of the game.
No.
But unfortunately, losing in Siege is very, you know, punitive. So you got to do what you got to do. I'm right where I normally am. I'm right on the border of top 150.
Right.
Never spend any, you know, never buy any gems or energy or whatever, you know. As long as I'm in top 210, that's where the real shards come. And Shiva's enough this month. She looks interesting enough to motivate me, at least for the raid's perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at my raid here, and I mean, I am not anywhere near. But I'm never really a raid guy, you know. I just looked down and I saw that I have 15 energy, so I've got to do it at some point before the next 6 hours.
So you love Siege more than I do, right?
Oh.
I mean,
Siege.
It's my least favorite game mode, Siege.
Yeah.
I mean, and this one has been particularly boring, and it really got on my nerves. You mean, it's just like Biff. I had to do a lot of mirror matching to go first, and then sometimes I don't go first, and I still don't know why, and I keep losing tunes and matches when I'm not supposed to. I mean, I just went against a 28k power team of Martian Manhunter, Black Flash, Artemis, and Brainiac.
Right.
And you go mirror match, and their Black Flash goes first. And how the fuck does that happen?
Yeah.
That's a bug. Like I felt so bad for you when we were chatting this, because I'm like, I haven't mirrored
multiple
once.
times. Multiple times.
I have not mirrored
I don't
once.
go first.
Right. I go first every time I mirror. So that's a bug. That's like, that's just shitty, because I don't get mad at the game, but that would get me mad.
That last team wasn't even fully Gear 11.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that affects speed. How the hell did I not go first?
Yeah. I can't answer that one. And I'm not usually good at the who goes first game, but that's why I'm happy to be lazy and just match it up.
You know, sometimes I go and use the speed calculator in the DCL. I use that
toolkit
thing to make sure that I go first, and then when the enemy Black Flash goes first, I'm like, what the fuck, again?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've lost a lot of matches and tunes because of this. I'm so happy Siege is over.
Yeah.
One more match.
Oh,
have you gone to the devs with that at all? Have you told Steve?
I don't know. I mean, why bother? Why bother? Because every time it happens, I'm not recording. I don't have evidence, but it really pisses me off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not one of those people who tries to get top 100 for Siege, because I don't have the time and energy to keep being that strict about my matches and the multipliers and the bonus turns and whatever. But it really pisses you off, because you want to do decent, and the game just screws you over.
Yeah.
Well, I think
for 3 days straight, I only won one match. I went from top 210 to over top 1,000 in 3 days.
Wow.
That's too much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know we're not supposed to give out this email, but the email is stevo@wbgames.com, everyone.
You keep pissing me off, Steve.
It's Steve.
You better fix next Siege, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word to the wise, don't piss Witty off, Steve.
Yeah. And fix Harley Quinn, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Biff is going to have a conniption.
Well, it's funny, because for the longest time, everyone was saying, "Oh, she doesn't evade anymore. She doesn't evade anymore." I'm like, wait a second. I'm not having this problem. I'm using her in Siege.
No, she doesn't.
I know, but I never knew it, because I never even figured out she was bugged again, because my opponents never got a fucking turn, because I was just using Black Flash and doing all this. So I was playing with Harley Quinn for like 3 days, and she had never not evaded, not because she didn't get hit, but because my opponent team didn't get a turn.
Oh,
so
I'm killing her with Black Flash's first move. So that's how amazing she is now.
Oh, she's such a treat.
She's a jester now. She's a really good joke now.
Oh,
she's a joke.
She's living up to her name.
she's the jester that makes no one laugh.
She doesn't laugh. You with sitting RB4.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's when you invest RB4 in someone, and now she's my new logo, which she's not going to be for long, by the way.
How are you going to fix that?
Grodd, RB4 Grodd.
Got it.
So I'm gonna, and he's one of my favorite villains from the cartoons growing up.
Yeah.
So, and he, by the way, is an absolute beast at high levels. He is so good. I'm replacing, just because I'm bored with him, I'm replacing Arcus with him in most comps, and I'm having an absolute blast.
Right. So my Grodd is terrible. Is it just that he's great at is he a powerhouse?
Oh, his AoE, once he ramps, so you have to ramp him on his first turn. Okay. So you have to protect him, you have to ramp him. Once you ramp him on his first turn, his second turn AoE most times will wipe out entire teams.
Wow.
So if I go Martian Manhunter, Black Flash, Grodd, and Cassie Kane, okay, that team is undefeated. I've never lost a character with that team. And
dick move.
Yeah, you can say that's a dick move.
It's like one of those a fully RB4, RB5 Martian Manhunter, Wonder Girl, Arcus, and Cassie Kane. It's just like you dick. You're a total dick.
No, but at least I took Wonder Girl and Arcus out of that to make it at least look like something no one had ever seen before.
It's the same but different.
But anyone out there, if you find my team on their board, good luck to you.
He's a real sock pickle. Oh, goodness. So, just real quick, since we're done talking about Siege and we're done talking about, raids and the new tunes, I want to ask you guys how psyched you are for Zack Snyder's Justice League, because I feel like all of this is kind of permeating around the outskirts. So we talked about it a little bit at the game, and maybe that's why Darkseid is one of the characters. But knowing what we know and seeing what we've seen on the silver screen lately with regards to the DC universe, do we think Justice League, Zack Snyder's cut, is going to fix anything? Is it going to make anything better? Is it going to make it more palatable? What do we think?
Well, look, it's not going to be worse than the original one. That's for sure. Between that and Batman v Superman, it's a tough pick, but they're just so, terrible movies. They're such terrible movies that there's no way it could do worse than that. But I get that people are hyped. And I get that that Snyder. He did an amazing job for 6 months, I guess. It took him to redo the movie, and a lot of CGI had to be applied, and he's bringing in the Joker again and redoing his vision of Joker, Darkseid, and everything. But I'm being cautious about it. I know it's going to be better, but I don't think it's going to be as good as everybody else thinks. You're still going to have Batfleck. I was never a fan of Affleck as Batman. I do think they nerfed Wonder Woman too much for that movie. I hope they fix it. Superman also, I think it's great that the black suit and everything. Everyone's so hyped about it, but I do think they nerfed Superman a lot in that movie, and they don't make him relevant enough. It's always centered about Batman and not as much about Superman. They don't make him, a relatable character, and that's what he lacks, because I love Cavill as Superman. He's my favorite Superman, but they don't use the character and the actor in the proper way. Yeah. I mean, the Superman movie that he made, it was the best that they used him, because he's just there. He was a total waste of a character in the Whedon cut.
Yeah. If I might say. I'd agree. I would agree with that. I think that, piggybacking on what you just said there, it's really tough. Batman is their key player, right? I mean, it's Detective Comics, it's DC. It's his periodical. And that's what they've made the most money with over the last decade and a half. I mean, even going back to the Michael Keaton Batman films, that was their money pit. That was their money maker. And to have reinvented that character several times over in the last 15, 20 years, where they've got him positioned as the center of their universe, it does suck that they nerf Wonder Woman and that they nerf Superman, or that they make them props instead of characters. And that's what I'd like to see fixed. And so I'm with you on that. I say that as a person who, I did like the first Justice League. I liked, the Whedon cut. It was what it was. For those of us who've been waiting forever and ever to see these characters on screen, it was hard. It was hard.
Yeah. And I'm of the three of us, I'm probably the least schooled on lore and things of being true to the characters and things like that. But I always view all of these DC movies as, life's about expectations. Mm-hmm. expectations are what drive, everything. And the bottom line is I go in with low expectations, and just try to enjoy it for what it is, new content that I could watch. So this is going to be 4 hours of something to be a distraction from real life that I'm not going to get too cranky about what they did to this character. It's just something to divert myself with a couple drinks and, watch. And, other than Batman 66, I don't dive too deep into the stuff. My favorite DC movie, Woody will love this, is definitely the first Wonder Woman. AB, to your point, just look at the number of movies for characters from Batman in particular, the number that they're on. I watched a half hour of Batman Begins yesterday because I just flipping through and saw it was on.
Sure.
How many movies they've done with him obviously shows that they view him as the centerpiece. And I know all the Superman, I'm not saying this derogatory, even though I might say fanboys, might not like it. It speaks to how they view it.
Sure. Now, do you guys think that we're going to get all 4 hours in one big chunk?
Oh, I heard it's in 4 episodes.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Okay. Well, that's what I heard too, but I didn't hear anything definitive one way or the other. I mean, I just took it as rumor.
Yeah.
If it was 4 hours nonstop, I think people would still watch it anyways because.
Oh, I would.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch Titanic, why not? why not sit through it? It's doable. But I did read something about them breaking it up in 4 pieces. Anyway, I'm gonna watch it either way.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm not skipping this one. I think he'll do a better job than Whedon did. But that's it. I'm not going to go in with high expectations like everybody else because I know it's not going to be a masterpiece. Because if it was, that's what they have done, what they would have done in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't.
Right.
They didn't.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, they didn't cut all that stuff out because they thought it was their gold. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. And it makes me wonder too if they're going to come out with a definitive set. So if they're breaking it up into, 1 hour chunks and 4 shots at like a mini series, or do they have plans on releasing this as like a one shot disc? Because watching it in chunks is great, but I'm with you. I would sit down and watch the uninterrupted 4 hour block. That's what I want.
Oh, yeah. I think eventually that'll be available. I think what they'll do is they'll break it out at first to get more scattered interest in HBO Max and where they'll be able to say
it's about money,
kind of like The Mandalorian. Say okay, something you look forward to each Sunday night or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, new one dropped.
Yeah, they need to get views and get more signatures to HBO Max. So it only makes sense. Oh
yeah, it's all about the money.
Yeah, and if anyone needs an HBO Max subscription, email Steve at WB Games.
Steve at WB.
And see if you can use his account.
Don't bully Steve.
I was actually considering doing maybe a watch-along party. I don't know how I'm going to do it digitally without angering the streaming gods, but I'd really like to try and figure that out.
I'm sure they'd like to figure out how to not let you do that.
I'm sure. So I'm not giving away my plans on the air, but good grief. If we can make it happen, we'll make it happen. That's what I'll say. And I think that'll be a fun little double AD thing that we can all do together and pop your own corn and bring your own soda. All right.
Good.
Sounds good to me, too. With that, I think I'm going to wrap us up here today. I think we're all good. Let's take her around the horn real quick. Biff, what do you want to say to the people?
Hey, just congratulations on Siege being over. And, I'm looking forward to the day where AAD has video capabilities because I want to see AB do backflips and cartwheels over DARKSEID.
Maybe I can. Well, it's very snowy outside, so I can't do it outdoors or I'd slip and fall. But maybe I can get the wife to record me doing such activity for you. Witty, what's the last word?
Yeah, for me, the last word is good luck in this last remaining siege day. And let's get this party started on the next raid.
Absolutely. And I've got 3 more siege matches to play, so I better get hot on that. Oh, and I've got a show to edit. Great.
Oh, AB, AB, I got one thing to add.
What's that?
If you're looking for a new home, a new alliance, if you want to raid with the famous talent of Atlantis After Dark, make sure you reach out to me on either Reddit or Discord.
The famous talent. The infamous talent. How about that? Good Lord. Oh, boy. Yes, I would agree. Join us. Join our Discord server. Find us over here. It's Atlantis After Dark.
And you don't have to be part of our alliance to be on our server. You know, we talk the show,
that's
we
correct.
get your feedback. So whether you're looking for a new alliance or not, either way, come hang out with us.
Yeah. Come hang out with me and Biff and Witty and sometimes Black Flash when he decides to show up.
Sporadically.
He's trapped on the Speed Force.
Yeah, BF, we hope you're getting well, pal. And with that, we're going to draw this to a close. We want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be with us today. Never miss an episode. Subscribe, drop some love with likes, stars, high fives, hashtags, or whatever you got in front of you, and spread the word if you like what you hear. We depend on your word of mouth to grow, and we certainly appreciate our listeners for doing so. Once again, stay safe out there. Thank you, and we'll see you next time, right here, for another episode of Atlantis After Dark. For Beatus, Witty, BF, and Biff, so long, everybody.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice, are the most powerful podcasters ever assembled. Super Beatus, Biff Man, Witty Amazon, Black Flash, Aqua Bear, dedicated to fun, entertainment, and quality podcasting everywhere. This is Atlantis After Dark.
Bitch, I always agree with you.